chill.
Gotta chill.
Did we just lose our family-friendly audience after that?
Shane Gillis was on the mic. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
And now Portland just has everybody. Not that they tried to do it this way, but they kind of just won that entire trade.
It's almost like there's a backroom deal that went on during that Super League thing. It was like, yeah, like let's nix the Super League talks, but this is how we're going to change the Champions League to basically make it like a pseudo version of that. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the From the Stands podcast. We are back for episode number 71 on this 17th of July, back filming on a Thursday night after some technical difficulties. Never ceases, obviously, but we're here. We're live, and we got a good episode for you guys. Not quite as jam-packed as we usually like it to be, but still have some pretty good topics that we'll go over. A couple just little interesting little side topics, I guess, as well that we'll get into. But before we get into the episode, Fezzy boy, what's been going on in your neck of the woods? How are things?
Oh, just trying to survive the South Carolina heat at the moment. It has been hot. And like every night, a thunderstorm too. It's like clockwork. Like every time I get home, I was finally able to mow my lawn today. So that's what I did today. That was project one accomplished. So happy about that. But yeah, other than that, trying to beat the heat, stay cool. But other than that, not too much. How about you?
Yeah, not too much going on here either. Went to a drive game this past weekend, so that was pretty fun. Yeah, I've been living in Greenville basically since like 2018. I've never been to a drive game somehow. So very, very fun. We had fireworks afterwards, so that was
nice.
A blast. Just really good vibes. It was a little bit cloudy, so it wasn't quite as, as scorching hot as you alluded to.
Right.
It started raining a little bit throughout there too. So, but yeah, overall good vibes. Overall at the drive game. Other than that, not too much going on. Just trying to avoid the heat, like you were saying. I do need to mow my lawn. I was doing quite a bit of stuff in the back these last couple of days, and man, like I'm like a 60-year-old man out there with like a towel, like basically having to like just pause every 2 or 3 minutes to like wipe the sweat off of my entire body. But yeah, it's whatever. But like you were saying, it rains at night, so like in the morning it's humid and it's just,
it's miserable.
But, whatever. It is what it is.
Absolutely miserable. It's just so humid. Like I'll start sweating at work, and like I won't be doing anything, but it's just like oozing out of me. Like I can't make it stop. It's literally awful. It's the worst.
No, like we helped with a youth group activity as well this last weekend, and I was literally just in charge of like refereeing a couple sports outside, and like I'm a sweater, so like I'm gonna sweat regardless. Same. But like it was like 5 p.m., so like the sun was still out, like you're out in like an open space, and just like standing there, I was sweating. I was like, this is like ridiculous. Like, what is even going on? So many things to like about Greenville, South Carolina, but the heat in the summer is not one of them.
It's so bad. The springs and the falls are like so incredibly nice, and then no snow for winter. Like I can put up with the cold, but no snow for the winter is definitely a plus. But the summers, you just got to make it through. That's why we got good air conditioning for sure. But
amen. And you're not even in it right now because you're in your garage.
I'm in my garage. I got like this fan air conditioner thing that's doing jack squat right now. So
if you guys hear bubbles in the background, it's just
it's that
Fez's fan that's
just that
water powered or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But like Sammy Boy said, we do have a good episode for you guys. A little like there's not a whole lot in this episode just because we're in the dog days of summer with like not a lot going on. We got golf kind of finishing up, a little bit of NBA off season going on with a big move that happened today. We're going to take a little bit of a look into college football, which will be the first sport that really ramps us into the fall coming up. But very quickly, since we don't have a huge episode, I have this folder on Instagram that I keep that I want, like just of videos that I want Sam to react to just in case we need something to do on the pod. And lo and behold, this is the one episode we needed something to do. So I sent it to Sam. I guess just pull it up and like I'll just count down like 3, 2, 1, and then just start it. And
Do you
this
want me
is
to just
Sam's.
play it through the
Yeah, just play it.
audio, or
I'll add the audio later, but just
okay.
just watch it and react to it. I have some things I'll say about it. I've already watched it, but I'll count it down and I'll put it on the screen and post for everybody. But all right, you got
All right,
it.
are you ready?
All right, 3, 2, 1. This is. Do you see in the caption?
What is
This
happening?
This is a sport.
Oh
bro.
my word!
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What is happening? Is this a sport? I don't understand.
Massage Championship World Tour Japan.
Oh,
Just wait.
Whoa, buddy.
Yeah, just wait. Just wait. There's this one move she puts on him. I'm just like, dude, I hope she has his consent because it gets wild,
dude.
I'm not sure if
Is there someone judging this?
I guess. How do you? Right here. I don't know if we're synced up, but watch this.
My goodness.
Wait.
She's gotta chill.
That's what I'm saying.
What the? Where's this guy come from?
Yeah, and then this guy. You could stop after that. I didn't watch it any further. But
Dude,
bro,
what is your algorithm?
I don't
now?
know, dude. I pulled up Instagram, and I'm pretty sure this was like the first thing that popped up. I was like, what am I watching? And I was just like, well, first off, in my head, I was like, how do you score this? Like, what is the scoring system for this?
Yeah, is there like style points? It looks like there is, by the way.
Apparently, but like that can't even be comfortable. Like, how is that a massage?
No.
And then I was like watching this, and I showed my wife today. I was like, I'm gonna have Sam react to this, and she just kind of looked at it, and I was like, I'm gonna play this on the podcast, and I'm gonna be like, did we just lose our family friendly audience after that? Because
dude, no kidding. Like you said, that doesn't even look comfortable. Like that would break me.
and the guy's like limp, like I don't know. It's just, and then just some of the stuff she was doing, I was like, holy cow! I hope she got his consent before this, because
I'm sure they sign a waiver before they they become a subject for that competition.
Yeah, but I just saw that, and I was literally just like, one, they'll make a sport out of anything, and two, only in Japan. Like,
leave it to the Japanese to be the best at it too.
Absolutely. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys thought about that. Let us know if you want us to react to any more like weird videos. Again, follow us on Instagram and send us weird videos that you find. If you guys see any, we'll try to react to them. Usually our episodes are so long we don't add any other extra segments, but if it's something you guys would like to see, we'll definitely do that more. But without further ado, just a little fun segment for you guys in these dog days, getting through with no sports. But with that being said, we'll get right into the episode. Bad.
Starting off the first segment here with a little basketball talk. Before we get into the basketball portion of the podcast here, not too much going on in the basketball realm, a couple signings and things, but the ESPYs happened last night. Usually I do not care about the ESPYs at all whatsoever, just because it's a bunch of woke nonsense. But I did tune in last night just a little bit because my favorite comedian, Shane Gillis, was on the mic. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. His opening monologue, absolutely fantastic. Obviously, no one in the crowd liked it because, again, like I said, a bunch of woke lib athletes. But yeah, I very much enjoyed Shane Gillis, from him throwing some shade at my boy SGA. To also just a lot of WNBA jokes, Lots there. Of WNBA. But yeah, I'm not sure if I know you saw all the clips online and everything, but what was your initial reaction on Shane Gillis getting on the ESPYs there?
Yeah, my first reaction was like, ESPN, what are you doing? You know what you're gonna get with Shane Gillis. There's no way they didn't.
And I love that he was true to himself. Like, he's like, I'm gonna do whatever I want.
That's what I appreciate the most about him. He's not a sellout, dude. He's gonna be him regardless of where he is or what he does. And like, he's so big now that it's like you can't really cancel him because he's just doing what he wants anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then my second thought was it kind of worked what ESPN was doing, because like, you know, people like us who don't really follow the woke agenda that's happening nowadays, you know, we don't really tune into the ESPYs because we don't want to see that. So they were probably like, hey, we'll get Shane Gillis, you know, little edgy, more on our side of things, I guess you would say. And
Whoa, getting political.
getting political. Sorry, calm down. No, but like I guess it kind of worked because we're talking about the ESPYS. People like you
Yeah.
tuned in just to see him. So, but I thought he was great. My favorite joke was when he panned to his friend's wife and said her name and was like, "4-time WNBA All Stars here." And he's like, "Just kidding. That's my wife's. That's my best friend's wife." And I knew none of you would know who she was because you guys don't know WNBA players. I was like, that was perfect. That was so funny. I think that's the joke that got most people to clap. And he's just like, whoa, you guys clap for that? I was just like, it was perfect. It was so
Dude,
good. And I've just been
Megan
enjoying it.
Rapinoe one too. Oh my word.
Oh, my word.
So funny.
That one I like. Do you probably don't, but I'm the type of person that like if something's like awkward, I like feel the awkwardness. And I started sweating because I'm just like, dude, making that joke in front of all those people. I was like,
I thought
oh
it was
no.
interesting too, because like I think he knew going in like it was going to be a tough crowd for him. But I
Right.
think when he was even a little bit surprised on some of those jokes not flying. Like you could tell his reaction was kind of like, "No, okay, all right,
Yeah,
moving
okay,
on."
moving
But
on. Yeah.
he never wavered. He still
No.
produced like obviously all of his or most of his jokes that he had in the chamber.
Yeah.
And at the end, he's like, "I realize some of you guys don't like me, but yeah, that's okay, and whatever." So
That's just Shane, dude. Like
I
he
know.
knows people don't like him,
Uh,
but he knows people they're the right kind of people love him. So that's
yeah.
just that's how
Well,
he
like you
rolls.
said, like ESPN, like I feel like this is a little bit of a pivot away from their usual ESPYS trash, for lack of a better term, that they
Yeah.
usually produce at these awards. Like, why do they not put some people in there that maybe would vibe with his jokes a little bit more? Why'd they
Right.
have to invite like the same, type of athlete or, people in the audience that they
Mhm.
have in the past that they knew weren't going to really be vibing with the jokes? But
Right.
I
Yeah.
absolutely loved it. The internet loved it. The only people that didn't were the people that were in the audience that probably took themselves way too seriously. So
Yeah,
if you have
absolutely.
10 minutes, just go listen back to the first 10 minutes
So
monologue or
funny.
whatever of Shane Gillis. Absolutely hilarious. So,
Mhm.
yeah, his Trump, bro. That was another thing. I feel like most of the, not to get political again, but most of the people in the crowd were probably not necessarily the biggest of Trump supporters. And he
Right.
referenced Trump and went into that long story about Trump because that's like
Yeah.
that's biggest thing. He imitates Trump like nobody I've ever seen. But
Mhm.
like when he got
Yeah.
into Trump, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm
Oh
sure they're
no.
gonna love that. So,
Right.
so funny.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
funny.
It was great.
But
I loved it.
no, yeah, it was amazing. So, like I said, if you have 10 minutes, highly recommend going to listen to that. But
Absolutely.
getting into the basketball portion of the podcast here, not too much going on at all, really, except for Summer League. I did see that Cooper Flagg dropped 31 points in his second NBA Summer League game after
Yeah.
really struggling in his first one. And after that, Dallas was like, all right, we've seen enough. We're shutting
Seen
you down
enough.
for the rest of the summer. So,
Yep.
which
Absolutely.
obviously is understandable, but couple cool little stories coming out of there, but we won't harp on that too much. But the biggest news in the last couple days, the first one being that Bradley Beal signing with the Clippers after a buyout from the Suns. Absolutely wild news, just in I guess the fact that the Suns are going to be paying him to not play for them and pay him quite a bit of money to not play for them. And then him also obviously signing with the Clippers and creating, if you could call it a big three, with Kawhi and James Harden. How do you see this move here for the Clippers? Do you think this is a needle mover in the West that's already absolutely loaded? Or do you see it just kind of more first round exits here for the Clippers?
I see more first round exits. I don't really see it like an aging superstar that's proven that he can't stay healthy. A little bit of a drama queen. I mean, it's just a lose-lose for both organizations because the Suns had to buy out his giant contract just to get him to leave, basically, and then going to a team where Kawhi can't stay healthy. James Harden is non-existent in the playoffs, and who knows if Bradley Beal will even play most of the games while he's there. So, I mean, hypothetically, again, it's kind of like the Paul George situation. Hypothetically, if they can all stay healthy, stay on the court together, why not? But I think the Clippers' best chance was last season, and they ran into just a better player and team in the Nuggets. So yeah, I just don't see it really doing much for either side at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't think this is a needle mover at all for the Clippers. Can you imagine, dude, like somebody paying you 70 to 80 million dollars to go away and to
Yeah,
basically just be fired? Like that's
dude, for
absolutely
real.
wild. But I texted you shortly after this trade, I think, saying that the Clippers never learn.
No.
And the Clippers actually had like a decent run. Like at the end of the year, they were one of the hotter teams in the league. Had some
Yeah.
good glue guys like Norm Powell, and Ivica Zubac was playing really well. Guys that you wouldn't necessarily consider stars in the league. But they traded away Norm Powell to the Heat in that big 3-4 team trade. And then they're kind of hitching their wagon to another quote unquote big three. And yeah, this does not impress me at all. Like all three guys are basically questionable from the beginning of the season all the way to the end, just because they all struggle with injuries. Brad Beal, I can't remember the last time I've seen him on a basketball court, to be honest. I only played some last year, but like not in any meaningful games for sure. I know the Suns didn't even make the playoffs, but and then obviously Kawhi, his injury history is well known, and then James Harden, besides his injury history as well, like he obviously can't really show up in the big games anymore. So
Right.
yeah, this doesn't impress me at all. Had to give away Norm Powell, which is a good glue guy and everything. So I'm seeing a regression here from the Clippers. I think that they'll be kind of on the bubble, to bring a collegiate term in here. Maybe
Yeah.
even miss out on the playoffs entirely. But yeah, we'll see. Like I said, they don't really learn with their past mistakes. I feel like we've talked about this on the pod before, with so many teams kind of moving to a draft and develop kind of model. I guess there are a couple teams still kind of sticking with that big three model as well, and trying to get superstars on the team as well. But another guy that was on the move was Damian Lillard. Obviously, he was released from the Bucks. The Bucks, again, another team that are eating that huge salary just to be like, yeah, go away. Not many suitors here for Dame Lillard. A lot of rumors kind of been thrown around the last week or so, but ultimately he decides to go back to where he is loved, in the Portland Trailblazers. A little bit of a surprising move here, but the Trailblazers actually have a kind of a sneaky good team now with Drew Holiday, a couple other good pieces there. How do you see this signing for the Trailblazers? You think it's big time, or you think Dame Lillard's going to be a little bit washed after recovering from injury here?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the injury does to him. He is an older player now, definitely relies on being dynamic, quick, shooting deep, definitely needs his legs under him. So I don't think we'll see it come to fruition this season. But what I found interesting was back when he was traded, there was like kind of like this 3-team thing with Drew Holiday. Ended up going to the Celtics from Milwaukee, and Milwaukee got Damian Lillard, and then obviously Milwaukee sent the Celtics sent a bunch of players and assets to Portland.
Yeah.
And now Portland just has everybody. And so like
everybody in the trade, yeah.
Not that they tried to do it this way, but they kind of just won that entire trade. Like,
definitely.
What was it, like 2 years later?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
Some good front office work there for sure.
Yeah, they got that young Asian kid that's been balling out in the summer league right now too. Like some people are saying he's like a little bit like Jokic-esque in a way, and so I don't know. They're building something in Portland. It's slow. It's going to be slow because it's a lot of young guys, couple older
Every
guys.
center now that can dribble a ball, it's like, oh, it's Jokic, it's Jokic,
it's Jokic, which is just kind of where the league's going. Like all positions are just so skilled now. But kind of back to your original question, I don't think it really moves the needle a whole lot this season, especially with Dame's injury. But it'll be interesting to see as like some of these younger guys get older, and with Damian Lillard back for a full season with Drew Holiday. I think Drew Holiday is the biggest needle mover. Like he's just a plug and play defensive menace, can get you 20 on a good night. Like, I mean, he's one of my favorite players to watch, honestly. But yeah, not a whole lot this year for them. But interesting that he's going back, because he could have just, waited till he was back from injury and went to a contender for a ring, but decided to go back to the Trailblazers.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how much the contenders were really looking at him as strongly as maybe we thought. I think the injury had a lot to do with it as well, but I just don't think that he was getting the eyes from the suitors like maybe we originally thought. I know the Warriors were, looking at him pretty hard. Ultimately, decided to go in a different direction. There was a lot of talk about the Heat. That's where he originally wanted to go, but maybe not as much now. Kind of they've deconstructed everything over there. Other than I was here in Boston, but like I don't know, like their whole team's going to be injured this year, basically, and he's just not going to help with that. So, just go back to where you're loved, where you have a legacy. You know, the fans are going to embrace you again. And who knows, maybe they make a little noise here coming this season, but we'll see. Last thing we'll touch on here is just we felt like we had to throw something in there that's basketball related. We couldn't just touch on 2 signings and be out. So I personally am watching this documentary on Netflix called Court of Gold, based on the U.S. men's men's national team. I guess it is the U.S. men's national team. It's just a different sport.
Yeah.
The U.S. gold Olympic team from last year. Obviously, the absolute God squad that we had going to the Olympics last year and playing everybody. Really, really good documentary put up by Netflix. Netflix is, I feel like, the king of documentaries. If it's a Netflix documentary, you know it's going to be good. But I'm on episode 2 or 3 right now. I think there's 5 or 6 episodes. I know Fezzy Boy watched this, but really good watch. Anything to say here about the documentary overall?
We were talking off pod about you just know a documentary is good when, like, obviously you know the ending, but like it's intriguing and just watching the behind the scenes. Did you get to the part where Katie talks about like France guarding Steph? Like, is that a part that
he's mentioned it? I don't know if there's another part, but is you talking about like the back and forth between him and Evan Fournier?
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
That's my favorite part. And I think that's like, you see that clip all over, but it's so good. Where like Fournier's like talking about how like they get together all the time throughout the year, every off season.
That don't help when you got to guard Steph.
Yeah, he's like, that chemistry ain't gonna help you. But like, obviously, you were joking off pod, and you're like, oh, don't spoil it for me. Obviously, if you're a sports fan and you watch any basketball and you watch that Olympics,
right.
If you didn't watch it, you missed out. But obviously, that's amazing foreshadowing for what Steph ended up doing in the championship game. So it was a great documentary. I loved it. I watched it while I was cleaning my garage when my wife and son were out of town. So it was a good watch for sure.
Yeah. I think this a little bit of a rabbit trail here, but it'll be quick. Just in the first 2 episodes, we're still in like the group play, but obviously I watched like the whole thing last summer and everything. I think it's going to be because the whole documentary is like trying to make out the U.S. team as like kind of underdogs or whatever. They're like, you know, losing the crown a little bit by all these other teams coming up, but like we reassembled our A squad and going back and get it, whatever. That's fine,
right?
But like, obviously, we're the only team in the world that can still put up like 12 Hall of Famers on a roster and still go get it. I'm interested to see though, like the next Olympics, when like the guys like LeBron, KD, Steph, etc. aren't there, because like obviously like we do still have like probably 1 through 12 the best team, but like those guys, like let's say Tatum or Edwards and Halliburton, those guys coming up, I don't think that the difference between them and some of the other teams that they play now is as vast as like us with LeBron, KD, Steph. Like those guys are generational, once in a lifetime type players.
Yeah.
And like maybe Ant or somebody else will turn into that, but like I don't think that the difference is going to be quite as vast. So we'll see. Like obviously we got that one. Like we kind of just like, all right, let's stop playing around. Let's get the real boys up in here. But we don't have like those guys that we can just be like come in and like beat anybody almost like we used to. So I'm super curious to see if, you know, the rest of the world can, like, especially guys like or teams like France or Canada or even Serbia, if Jokic makes another run out of the next couple Olympics, and see what they can do. But I think we touched on this like last summer too, but like, bro, like I know I haven't even gotten to it on the documentary, but especially that Serbia game. I've been like, you know, shooting Jokic's horn whenever I can, but like, dude, him and his role players going up against the Hall of Fame squad the U.S. had, and going toe to toe. Like everybody's like, "Oh, Steph!" Incredible performance, all-time Olympic performance by Steph. Absolutely love to see it, 8 threes or whatever. But the fact that Serbia was even in that, bro,
oh my word, yeah,
incredible feat that I feel like gets lost in the sauce a little bit with all the France shenanigans and everything. But great documentary. So if you had a chance, go see it. So, but yeah, that'll kind of cap the basketball portion of the podcast here. We'll get into a little bit of football talk. I'll touch on college coming up in just over a month now, coming up pretty soon here. We'll also touch on a little bit of football in the NFL as well, as we have a couple signings to speak of. But we'll get into that in just a moment.
Like we said, with the dog days of summer upon us right now, looking forward to football starting up here in like a little over a month with college football and a little over 2 months with the NFL. I'm already looking at who I'm going to draft in I'm starting the fantasy process already because
Thought you weren't
every
playing
year,
this year, Stallone.
yeah, I already informed. I got asked to be in another league, and I said yes. So I was like, if I'm in this league, I got to be in the other league. So I'm gonna end up being in 4 leagues after saying I was done last year. But
Jeez.
that's
fact
just
that
the way
people
it
are
goes.
already asking you to, I think, is funny.
Yeah, it was someone from back home who's like, "Hey, you want to be in a fantasy football league?" I was like, "Sure, that sounds like fun. I guess I'll do it." So I've been listening to some podcasts, seeing who I should draft this year because I think I have the second pick again this year. So we'll definitely see who we end up getting. Jamie always auto drafts, and I think he has the first pick. But regardless, we're going to take a look at a little bit of college football, look ahead. Kind of the biggest story going around college football at the moment. We're not really going to get too in depth with the games coming up, even though there are some really, really good opening day games. We got Texas and Ohio State. I believe we have LSU and Clemson. So a couple good games to start us off.
August 30th, bro. There's like back to back, like really good games. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be hype. I was looking at them. I can't remember all of them, but I know those were the 2 that stood out. But speaking of Texas, we're gonna kind of pose this question. I kind of want to get your opinion on it. Arch Manning, obviously, he sat behind Quinn Ewers the last 2 or 3 years now. I think it's 3. And he's going to start this coming season. Definitely really, really hyped. Everyone's kind of crowning him the second coming of Tim Tebow, probably better because everyone's saying he's going to be the first pick in the NFL draft as well. But do you think that Arch Manning is overhyped or is he the real deal?
Well, as much hype as he's gotten, it's hard to say if he's going to be, I feel like I guess margin for error is very small. Like you're either going to be incredible or anything below that's going to be a disappointment. But I absolutely think that he's going to be the real deal. I think in the games that he was in last year, usually against bad teams, but what he was putting on tape was really impressive. Obviously, everything's going to be super inflated. Like everything you do good is going to be, oh, he's amazing, and then everything you do bad is going to be like, oh, he sucks. But I think the kind of going back to just his upbringing, like the training that he's gotten from 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then like, who he's had around him is his grandfather and his own father and everything. Like he knows how to deal with pressure. He's obviously been trained as far as like the mechanics and how to read defenses from literally the day he was born, probably.
Right.
So just with all of that behind him and just the talent that he has as well, like he's actually can run, which is not a Manning quality at all.
Right.
I think the stuff that he's going to be doing this year is going to be special. I think that he stays 2 years at Texas, if I'm honest. Like I don't think goes out. If he has a good year, he comes, unless they win like the national title or something, which I could see. But I think he's going to be the real deal for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting for sure. Yeah, and I didn't think about that. Like, depending on his season, like he does have eligibility for at least 2 more years.
Because he only sat 2 years behind Quinn.
Okay, so it was only 2 years. I couldn't remember if it was like 2 or 3.
I think the first one was redshirted, so he has
gotchas.
He's got a couple years left for sure.
Yeah, and it's just interesting to see, kind of like what you were saying, the people around him, his uncles, his dad, his grandfather. You can tell the influence they've had, like this slow progression. Like, don't go to a school where you're going to start right away. Go to a kind of a school that's going to mold you, let you sit behind a quarterback that's ahead of you, even though you might be better than him. A lot of people were saying he should have played over Ewers last year. But
I think
really
that
good
shows
coach.
so much maturity too. Like obviously he's got a lot of big time people in his ears, but like the fact that like in the year of NIL and like go wherever like is the best situation, going to pay you the most money, going to play you the most. The fact that he sat 2 years is as like a blue chip prospect as he is, it shows a lot about him, I think, for sure. So
Yeah. And I think those are just all the signs that are pointing to like, one, he's going to have success as a starter in college, but like the end goal is to be a great quarterback like the rest of his family in the NFL, which he definitely has the tools and pieces to do that. But, you know, we've seen guys come out of college and just not, I mean, I personally, I mean, I wasn't diving into it that deep, but like I thought Tebow was going to be amazing in the NFL because he was such a good college player. But sometimes you're just a good college player, and that's all you are. And there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes that's just how
he
the
never
cookie
really
crumbles,
got
I
a fair
guess.
shake in the NFL, but that's a kind of a
Yeah,
story for a different time. But I am excited
yeah,
for Texas to be back. I think it's cool when they're good. So
yeah, yeah. Like we said, August 30th, man, good slate of games. I think I'm gonna
yeah.
be in Pennsylvania for Owen's birthday party, so definitely gonna have that on while we're setting up for the party.
I love how
But
you know what you're doing that far in advance. Like I barely
that's
plan
my wife.
a week in advance. I'm like, dude.
That's my wife. I'm literally like day to day, bro. I don't know what I'm doing at work tomorrow. Actually, I do this time, but most of the time I have no clue. Uh, but with that being said, definitely looking forward to the college season, getting us ramped up for football, which will move us into the NFL season. And speaking of the NFL, my Steelers finally getting their act together and signing TJ Watt to a new deal. I don't have the numbers in front of me. If you do, you can shout them out. But I'm just happy that we finally got him signed, pen to paper.
3-year, $123 million contract.
Yeah, he's older, so he's definitely not going to make like Myles Garrett or definitely not Micah Parsons money when they get their act together, which we'll touch on here in the segment a little later. But what are your initial thoughts on this? Obviously, this is a must do for the Steelers.
Yeah, obviously it's a huge signing. Everybody kind of expected it. It was just kind of a question of when, even though it kind of did take a little bit longer than a lot of people were expecting.
Right.
Obviously, massive money. Obviously deserved. One of the best players, if not the best player in the league. I think he got cheated out of a couple of defensive player of the years for sure, at least in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it definitely shores up a Steelers defense that can definitely get better. Your secondary was not great last year. And I think it's obviously a huge piece of the puzzle as far as where they're trying to go. Obviously, signing Rodgers, they're gonna want to try to at least to get to the Super Bowl this year is what I'm assuming is going to be the goal. Signing a guy like Rodgers, and you know their wide receiver room still needs some work, and like I said, the secondary, but a huge piece getting T.J. Watt back, even though he is 30 now, which I feel like that crept up out of nowhere.
I know, right?
He's gonna be impactful for well into his 30s, in my opinion. So
Yeah,
I did. I
definitely.
did see JJ Watt. He tweeted after he was because he with this contract alone he made more than JJ Watt did in his entire 12-year career,
Wait,
which is
really?
also wild
That's
because JJ
crazy.
Watt was like setting records of his own back when he was playing. So that's kind of crazy. But he was like, "Yeah, when I'm out to dinner with my brother, if I even reach for my wallet, my brother better stop me or whatever." It was so funny. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh, I love
I
their
love the
brother. Yeah, like what you were gonna say. I love their brother relationship, like the Watts brother relationship.
love it.
It's
Yeah.
so funny. I just love
Yeah,
seeing
and
them go back and forth.
JJ Watt is really like my first, like, I guess, because I didn't really like grow up watching like the NFL. Like, oh, I like this player. Like, I was just kind of like watch the Cowboys. JJ Watt was
Uh-huh.
like the first guy I was like really fell in love with as a player. I'd
Uh-huh.
follow him a lot, and I was like for a while I'd follow all his brothers. Like TJ Watt was at Wisconsin, and Derek Watt was on the Steelers or whatever. Like, I was like super into it because I just loved their family and their vibe. It's cool. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just glad to see that the Steelers finally got it done. It was definitely, I texted you today when we were talking about it, and I was just like, I wasn't getting worried because it was like always something that you just felt like was going to happen. But it was just dragging on to the point where, the anxiety started creeping in for sure as a Steelers fan. You're just like, are we going to lose him? Like, is there a chance? Like, but I'm glad that we finally got pen to paper and he's going nowhere for 3 years. So definitely a huge sign of good things to come for the Steelers.
He needs
For
to
sure.
convince his brother to play one more year, get on the other
Yeah,
end
come
of
out
the
of
line.
retirement.
That would be
That would be
crazy.
huge. Be huge. But keeping it with pass rushers, a former Super Bowl MVP signing with the Commanders, and Von Miller. Does this? You said it off pod, I think, but you're high on the Commanders this coming year, especially. Do you think this moves the needle a little bit for them as well?
Yeah, a little bit. Von Miller was not that impressive in his last year with the Bills.
Uh-huh.
He was on and off the field. I think he had some legal issues as well, along with his issues, with the injuries and everything. I do think that it definitely helps their team more than it hurts it, but
Yeah.
it's not the Von Miller of old that was winning Super Bowls and things with the Broncos, but
Mhm.
definitely a very good piece that's going to bring a lot of experience and along with probably some pretty good play as well. But yeah, like you were saying, I was saying off pod, like the Commanders are no joke this year. Like
Nah.
it's just crazy, like how you can like as long as you make the right choice at QB and protect him, keep him upright. You have
Mhm.
one good season, everybody wants to sign with you, like literally everybody.
Yeah.
And if we don't have a good year, like we could find ourselves like third place behind the Commanders and the Eagles. So, yeah, I think the Commanders are definitely going to be for real this year.
Yeah, I'm super high on them as well. I was telling you again off pod, just if Jaden Daniels can have a season that is like, it doesn't even have to be as good as last year because that was just good for any quarterback in any year of their career, let alone a
Yeah.
rookie. But if he just has like an average year for him, I mean, the Commanders are going to be just fine. We didn't put this in the doc, so we won't touch on it like super long, but they are having some issues with Terry McLaurin right now being unhappy with the deal that he's currently on, asking for more money. Obviously, he is worth it. There's split opinions on whether he should be asking for more or not. Kind of a quiet guy, doesn't really get into the headlines for being disgruntled, but it'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see if they end up keeping him. They gotta, in my opinion, they got to. But talking wide receivers and a little bit of drama going on. Rashee Rice sentenced to 30 days in prison, possible suspension from the NFL. This is definitely going to hamper the Chiefs as well. I did see something where he's on like 5 years probation and he can serve that 30 days at some point within those 5 years. So like he obviously
Oh, interesting.
doesn't have to do that like during the season, but the NFL is looking into giving him, I'm sure it's going to be a hefty game suspension to start the season, but
You would think, but I was looking at an article a little bit earlier today, and there's been like cases that you consider equitable to this, and they always got like between 3 and 6 games. So like maybe we're not looking at a huge like suspension when all things considered, everything that was involved with the hit and run and everything. Like maybe it's not quite as bad as because I mean you can deal with a 3, 4, 5 game suspension. That's only like you
right.
know a quarter, a third of your season there for the Chiefs, and they'll be able to be fine probably without him. They played most of this last season without him, so
Right.
you can kind of survive till they get him back.
Yeah, and I mean the suspension can always work out and like he's healthy come like middle of the
Exactly.
season like
Yeah.
that could be huge because that was the big thing last year. They weren't healthy. They weren't healthy at all,
Yeah.
and they still made the Super Bowl. I
Still
mean,
went 15-1 or whatever the
yeah,
heck.
I mean they got freaking walloped in the
16.
Super Bowl, but to still make the Super Bowl on a quote unquote unhealthy down year, like I mean, crazy, dude, crazy.
Very.
Yeah, and I guess I should have mentioned. I don't remember all the details, but this is for his hit and run in Texas. He was speeding on the highway, and there's video of the accident. Like, I'm surprised it wasn't worse, dude. Like no cars flipped or anything, but
I
after the
know.
accident happened, him and his buddies just started walking down the
Fleeing the
highway.
scene. I
Yeah,
know, dude. What an
like, dude, you're
idiot.
on
Like,
camera and
oh
you are a
my.
famous football player. Like, what are we doing? What
I
are we
don't know
doing?
why. Like in
Idiots.
2025, bro, and everybody has a news camera in their pocket.
Yeah.
Like, why would you try to even do something like that?
Like, yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. It's like there is no privacy at all. There's nothing that happens unless you're out in the most rural areas of like some state. Like I grew up in a pretty rural area. You've been where I live, like, but even then, like you said,
even then there's a camera on the
there's
bank
a
like
camera.
corner or whatever. Like,
yeah, exactly. Always
can't
watch.
get away
There's
with
yeah,
nothing.
just stupid. Like just no thought process at all. But anyway, speaking of Texas and moving on to Dallas, I didn't see anything about this, so I'm definitely gonna just toss this over to you. But Micah Parsons frustrated with Jerry Jones at the moment, not getting him signed.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not really sure how he got this out there. I don't know if someone asked him about it, at the facility or like, yeah, I was on the podcast or something. But I guess it was in the context of TJ Watt getting signed. He kind of sounded off a little. It wasn't like crazy, like headline breaking or anything, but it did catch my attention a little bit. That apparently he is a little bit frustrated with the front office. And when he was asked about the TJ Watt deal, he's like, yeah, I would have liked to get it done a lot sooner, but that's not really how our front office works. So, a little bit of pointed words there towards the front office. Probably not something that Jerry is not used to at this point, but a little bit interesting coming from a current player. A lot of former Cowboys sound off once they're done being Cowboys players, but not something you want to necessarily hear from your number one player, your best player on the roster currently. So we'll see if this kind of helps spur Jerry in the right direction and get him signed sooner rather than later. Because again, with every day that passes by, the dollars keep going up and up and up. So he's going to want something probably a little bit more than TJ Watt got, at least on the yearly basis. We'll see. But definitely sick of Cowboys just sitting on it. So it's like the most expensive deal we can possibly get, and it ruins our salary cap. So
I know, and it's been the off season of like pass rushers and edge rushers. I mean, Myles Garrett is Myles Garrett the highest paid edge rusher at the moment?
I want to say that's right. Yeah, because he signed that record deal with the Browns last year. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, every day you guys wait, that price is just getting
and our
jacked.
Season's been done since like the end of the regular season,
right.
bro. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Idiots.
Exactly.
Man. I hate being Cowboys fan. I was at youth group this past week, and I think I wore this hat right here, this Cowboys hat, and some kid came up to me and he was like,
bodied you.
You're a Cowboys fan? I was like, unfortunately,
John.
yes. He's like, that must be rough, and just walked away. I was like, bro.
Nothing
of course,
like
he's a Patriots fan.
Nothing like the youth of America to humble you.
Goodness,
oh
dude.
My word, Sammy Boy just getting bodied at youth group.
Loyal to the soil, though.
13-year-old or whatever
literally.
He was. That's so funny.
Yeah, 14, 15, whatever.
But anyways, hopefully the season goes a little better for you guys. Or as sports fans,
I have a lot of hope for Pickens, man. I was a huge pickup for us, I think. So
I mean, if Dak stays healthy, you guys are good when Dak is healthy.
Our offensive line is good. Like,
I mean,
I'm saying,
your
dude,
defense is usually
healthy,
decent.
Man.
Like that's just kind of a staple of those old NFL teams. Like, you're just always good defensively. Is Shoddy a defensive guy? I don't even know barely know who he is.
It's a good question. No, he was an offensive guy.
Offensive guy? All right.
Yep.
Maybe
he was our offensive coordinator last year. So.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
His dad was big time stuff. He was a coach for the Redskins, I want to say.
Whoa,
pretty
you can't say
famous
that.
coach. So I'm hoping, he yeah, all right. I'm hoping that he lives up to his name. But
yeah. Well, we'll definitely see. We're all excited for the college and NFL football seasons coming up. Definitely can't wait for those to happen, especially with the long dog days of summer with literally just golf to watch, which there's nothing wrong with that. And we'll talk a little golf coming up here in a little bit, but that's going to do it for the NFL portion of this podcast.
Keeping it stateside for a little Club World Cup final talk. We left you guys with a pretty juicy final here. Chelsea playing PSG. We both signed off, giving the overwhelming favorites PSG the nod to win. I said 3-0. Fezzy Boy gave his old Chelsea Blues the blessing of scoring one goal in the entire match here. Chelsea run riot against a very informed PSG side, winning 3-0 here. Cole Palmer with a brace in the first half. Joao Pedro adding a third. Joao Neves getting sent off late in the second half, which I very much enjoyed, and so did the internet. But we'll get into that in just a few minutes here. But Fezzy boy, how did we feel now that we're Club World Cup champs?
Dude, am I one of those Chelsea fans that go, we're the best freaking club in the world right now? I mean,
yes.
Okay, there's some
club to win every trophy that's out there.
Every trophy. Like, don't come at us. We're on the rise. We're in the Champions League. We're probably gonna get, well, there's no groups anymore, but we're definitely getting out of the table phase. But I don't know how we're gonna do once we get there. But I mean, there's a little bit of truth to the claim to being the best club in the world right now. Because I mean, when you beat the best, hypothetically, you are the best, right? Tell me I'm wrong, Sam.
That is usually how it goes.
That is usually how it goes. And in dominant fashion. Yes, I will say I was one of the first to write us off and say our path through the Club World Cup was definitely pretty weak, all things considering. And PSG were flying through the harder side of the bracket for sure, with the likes of Bayern and who they play? Bayern,
Bayern, Madrid,
Real Madrid. Yeah, so I definitely didn't think that we could pull it off, but I think it was not until like the 75th minute where I like believed that we were going to actually like win by that much, because in the first half I was like, oh sure. But then we started like fighting PSG and like ticking them off. I was like, guys, let's not poke the bear now. Like, they're going to come out in that second half and just blow us away. But obviously that didn't happen. And 3-1 victors, and also a little cameo by yours truly, President Trump, during the trophy presentation, which was funny. Just, dude, seeing the memes with like Cole Palmer, what is this guy doing? Like,
dude, Cole Palmer is not the brightest.
Dude, there's some screws loose in his head, but as long as the footballing ones are tightened down, we're good. We're absolutely good.
He's a funny guy to watch for sure.
He is. That's
I think a lot of the Chelsea boys, shared your sentiment with being nervous, because like minute 65, bro, they were already rolling on the ground, like picking up yellow cards for time wasting. I was like, brethren, we're up 3-0 here, and I think we can pass the ball around a little bit, and not be on the floor every 2 minutes. But it is what it is. But I did want to pose a question to you. I know you mentioned that you had a little bit of an easier road here to the final. How much do you think that actually played a part in this final? Or do you guys think that it wouldn't have made a difference here? Because obviously your path to the final was, I would say, quite a bit easier. Obviously the Brazilian teams, they show that they're nothing to scoff at. But I think in the grand scheme of things, that they are a little bit weaker than maybe some of the opposition that PSG had to face. Do you think that PSG was a little bit run down and you guys were a little bit more fresh because of that? Or, you think that it wouldn't have mattered either way and you guys were going to just wax them 3-4-0 here?
Yeah, that's interesting, because normally we talk about it working the other way, where like one team's like battle tested getting into the final and the other one has like had a cake cup walk to the final, which was what Chelsea had, like in terms of like how strong the tournament was. I guess that could probably play into it for sure, but I just look at it as like, I mean, you just watch PSG just mow over Real Madrid, and then Bayern kind of pushed them, but then they just flew past them. So I was just looking at it. I'm just like, man, who have we played compared to who they played? And they're handling them pretty easily. And they just won the Champions League in convincing fashion. I was like, best team in the world. We're not even touching them. Like, we're on the rise, but I mean, to win would have been great, but to do it the way we did, I mean, I couldn't have dreamt that any better. Just like the way that we defended, the way that, I mean, we were making them look uncomfortable, and we were just counter pressing the crap out of them in like the first 20 minutes of that game. We should hold on to Maresca forever, if you're asking me, because I don't know. He's
got the tactics down. Like, execution is another thing. Obviously, you figured out the execution this game too, but I mean, he knows what he's doing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, interesting question, but I'm not sure how much it really played a factor into it.
Yeah, that 1-2 punch by Cole Palmer, like the goals were identical too. Like
Yeah.
just the same exact goal, basically, like a yard or two apart on his positioning and everything. But
dude
yeah,
and sorry, but like I was hearing this all over, like after they won, and it was a take that I had, but we didn't have a podcast yet, so I couldn't put it on the internet. But like, I am so excited about João Pedro and who's the big guy that we had, is Delap.
Delap, yeah, Liam
Delap.
Delap.
The 1-2 punch, like two very different goal scorers. But when we put Delap in, he was just like a bull in a like he almost scored with like his first like 3 touches on the ball. And I'm just like, dude, like having two different strikers, like one that's quick, can get through lines, get like
He's a beast.
be an option, like João Pedro on the ball, like a striker like that, and scoring goals, finishing well. So excited. But then to have like a true hold up play, good with the ball at his feet, just big striker, like old school striker, dude. I'm pumped because like get Nicholas Jackson out of there.
I was literally
Frick
about to
that
ask,
guy.
where's Nick Jackson in all this?
He's gone.
He's on loan somewhere.
He's going to League One. He's playing for like Marseille or something at this point.
yeah. Delap, I like
So
Delap a
pumped.
lot.
Yeah.
I'm definitely.
Where did he come from?
Smaller not Bournemouth. A
Was
smaller
it in the
team. I
Prem?
don't remember exactly, but I'm gonna show my age here. But when I first heard the last name Delap, like when I first started watching the Prem, there was this guy called Rory Delap, and he was known very well around the Prem. He only played for like Stoke City, but he was there for like ever. But he was very well known for his throw-ins were literally like crosses. Like you get it in from the side all the way into the box. He was known for that. So as soon as I heard Delap, I looked it up. It's his dad, dude. So
dude, really? Let's go.
So he's got a little bit of a legacy to
I'm excited
uphold there. But,
yeah, for sure.
Last question I'll kind of pose here about the Club World Cup. Obviously, it's a little bit different when your own team wins, but I guess what do you have to say here now that the whole tournament's all played out? Like, how do we feel about the legitimacy of the tournament? Obviously, it's a little bit skewed. Like the only reason Chelsea are in from a Champions League win 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago now, which I think is crazy. Obviously, don't have the likes of like a Liverpool or a Barcelona or anybody like that in there. So what do you got to say here about the legitimacy of the tournament? And obviously, you kind of had half and half as far as teams trying, teams not. But what's your initial reaction here on this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, the legitimacy of the tournament is held in the fact that like it was really like PSG, Chelsea, Bayern, and kind of Real Madrid. I guess they were playing like a full strength squad, but it was really just like preseason. Like the reason that they were playing full strength squad was because they have a new manager in Xabi Alonso. So obviously he's going to want to see what he has. And I know you're always trying to win the games in front of you, but the only reason that I'm high on the win that we had is because we played another team that was playing their starters and we're actually playing for something. Like PSG, the reason they sent all their starters, even though they had just won the Champions League, is because they were going for the sextuple or the sextuple.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If they weren't going for that, I don't think they would have sent any of those guys.
Yeah,
there,
like if that wasn't on the table, I don't think that they would have been like, hey guys, go rest. We don't give a crap about this. Chelsea, obviously being a young squad with Maresca and having some like new players, like just wanting to see what you had, we played our full strength squad. So the final as a standalone game, like if this was like the original Club World Cup where like you just like somehow just how it works out, there's like a one-off game basically and you're in. And if it was that, I would say the legitimacy would be higher. But the fact that we had this giant tournament of like seeing like Brazilian teams just run the table and teams not play full strength squads, it's still unfortunately a bit of a Mickey Mouse tournament in my opinion.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Especially just I understand it's like a World Cup. They want to make it a World Cup, but there's just no denying that I guess you could include the South American teams now, but there's just a huge divide between South America and European teams. Even though they had by far the most teams in there, like Europe really deserves more teams in there.
Right.
But then it's not really like a legitimate World Cup per se. But obviously, you still had 2 European teams in the final, and that's probably kind of probably be how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. Maybe a Brazil gets in there for sure, but it just definitely feels a little bit. I wouldn't say cheap because that's not the right word, but like just feels weird that like the Conference League champions and 4th place in England are the Club World Cup champions now. Like that just I don't know, it just sits weird. Like I understand that they were in from their Champions League win, half a century now ago, but
none of those players that won the Champions League were on the squad.
yeah, like that's another thing. Like it's super. Yeah, it just feels very, very strange. But like you said, very, very solid dub overall for Chelsea. A good confidence boost. I did want to mention two quick things on the Club World Cup, and then we'll move it on. But João Neves getting a red card here. I think it was last week or the week before that. I was on just hating on Mark Cucurella for no reason, other than the fact that I just don't like him. But he was one of the main players that was on the ground, dude, from the second half, just like. Just, dude, I was like, dude, I hate you so much. I hated you when you played for Spain. I hate you when you played for Chelsea. And then just like João Neves being like, all right, I had enough of this guy. Just yanks his hair down, bro. I was like, I loved you before, but I love you even more now. Like, gets a red card. He's just like, yep, sounds good. See you guys later.
Yeah.
I'll be in the locker room. So absolutely love that.
It's hot out here. I'm going back. See you, boys.
This game's done. We're down 3-0 in the 88th minute. All right. Peace out, y'all.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
word.
Dude, what I hated too is like he like baited him into that. Obviously, the reaction is worth a red card. I'm not disputing that at all. But like he's like baiting, and then he like João Neves finally like falls for it. He's like on the ground, like being like, oh, whatever. So, oh my gosh, I hate him so much. But last thing I wanted to touch on too. The team of the tournament for the Club World Cup had some heads turned, and I don't know if you saw this or not. But pretty solid team of the tournament overall. But just have a consistent player in there that we see in almost all these team of the tournaments. Lionel Messi leading the front line after an absolute just embarrassment. Ousting by PSG 4-0 in the round of 16. He got ahead of Gonzalo Garcia, who scored 4 goals for Madrid. Angel Di Maria scoring 4 goals. Serhou Guirassy for Dortmund, who made the semis. But no, Messi leading that front line in the team of the tournament.
Crazy.
As the Messi fan, I need your reaction once again. What do you got to say?
That's crazy, dog. Oh my gosh. Like if the corruption wasn't blatant enough, holy cow. They shouldn't even be in it. Like winning the Supporters Shield in the MLS. Like not winning the MLS, not winning like I don't even know what you can win in the MLS because I don't even watch the MLS because it's that bad. But like, oh my word. No, they're not. They're
just,
not.
Even if they deserve to be in it, bro. Like, how are you putting in a guy who scored 1 or 2 goals that was ousted in the round of 16 over dudes that had 4 and 5 goals that their team made like the semis and final and stuff. Like,
exactly.
What are you doing, dude?
And I watched most of that Miami PSG game, and dude, Messi touched the ball literally like 6 times. Not even. And then the one chance he has, he like totally blew the free kick. I'm just like, he did absolutely nothing. Obviously doesn't play any defense. Like, absolutely wild, dude. Like, I didn't even see that. So
scored 1 goal the entire tournament, dog.
Oh my gosh. Oh, they beat Porto. Like, oh my gosh.
Porto couldn't show up against Al Ahly though from Egypt. Couldn't bag a couple against them, or is that too hard? Word. You got to go back to your MLS. But
yeah, dude. And then like after that, they're like, all I see is Messi scored 2 goals in like 5 straight games. Like, yeah, it's because he's playing rec league soccer in America right now. Like, of course. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's tough though, because like I don't know, he may have something to do with it, but it's like it's not his fault that the media and everybody glazes him, but they just bring like so much hate onto him now. That's just like they
Yeah.
think that they're like, oh, we're increasing his resume and his legacy by putting him in the team of the tournament.
No.
Like, no, dude, he's
No.
losing fans by the freaking minute, including our boy Stallone over here. Because
seriously, dude,
is going on.
Yeah, I don't even try to watch him anymore, dude. I just want to remember the good old days when he was at Barcelona, dude, doing his thing. Like, he forever in my mind, like, in total, like, soccer history is the best player ever. But, like, you certainly aren't doing yourself any favors. At this point, he should just retire and ride off to the sunset, be with his family, and let everybody remember him for what he was when he played in Europe with Barcelona. My opinion, he can do what he wants, obviously, and he's probably never going to hear this, but that's my opinion. You never know. Messi.
I did see that they lost like 3-0 last night or whatever, so obviously they're not doing too good in the MLS either. Did you see that DePaul from Argentina signed with Miami?
Oh my gosh. You probably shouldn't have said that because I'm going to rant now. I'm going to try to keep this like really short, but it's literally like the first thing was like, we get Messi. Okay, we get Messi. Then they sign all of like Messi and friends. That's not working. So they're like, all right, now what do we do? Whoa, let's get all his Argentinian buddies that he won the World Cup with, see if that works. And when that doesn't work, what are we going to do? I don't know. Just buy all of another team that he played with. Just buy PSG and be like, here we go, play in the MLS with him. We need you to, I don't know, do something with Messi.
The thing is, they're also anciently old too. Like, that doesn't help with anything.
Like, what's DePaul? I mean, DePaul's definitely gonna like play defense.
Younger.
He's a little younger. I was kind of surprised that he's coming to the MLS, but again, they probably like offered him like this crazy sweet deal because they were like, you need to come
31.
and protect Messi and help us win.
Yeah, that's what he's made his career on now. Like, he's got all these like aura farming clips online now of like people trying to start fights with Messi, and he's like bumping chests or whatever, like basically just worshiping his boy Messi. So he's got to like play into that a little bit more by signing with the Miami.
Yeah,
I don't even know how they have any more designated spots, but whatever. That's a conversation for a different day. But
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Anyways, moving right along with the little Champions League and Europa League qualifiers. I had a really good rant before we even started recording that I wish we had gotten on recording, but I'm not even going to try to replicate it. But the reason we're talking about this is just because my Romanian teams that are in the qualification for the tournament both won. Steaua Bucharest, who has a Champions League trophy to their name back in the 80s, by the way.
Crazy.
They won their qualifying, so they're now in the second qualifying round of the Champions League. Only 3 more to go before we're in there. And then in the Europa League, my favorite team from Romania also won their first qualifying round against the team that they were playing as well. So both teams that have played so far are through. We do have 2 more teams playing in the Conference League qualies a little bit later today. But I just wanted to get on here and kind of rant about the stupidity of the Champions League. I know we get on here almost every time we talk about the Champions League and say how top heavy it is and all this stuff. But after doing a deep dive of the qualification, I'm heated as a I can't say citizen anymore, but as a person who was born in a quote unquote small footballing country, even though we used to be large. The disservice that they are doing, I feel like, to a lot of these quote unquote smaller countries, I think deserves a lot more attention than it's getting. It's not going to, because all the money is with the big boys, but absolutely insane how, 5th place in England gets an automatic Champions League bid. 5th place in Spain getting an automatic Champions League bid. While champions of quote unquote, again, smaller countries have to go through 3, sometimes 4 qualifying rounds to just get a sniff at the Champions League, which obviously makes it incredibly difficult. Obviously, with the new format and everything, 36 teams in the Champions League now, 30 of which are already taken by the big boys. Usually, like I said, 4th, 5th, 3rd, whatever, through the first 3 or 4 teams in the big countries getting automatic bids, and the smaller countries left with scraps. But I just think it's absolutely insane that so many of these countries have to go through so many qualifying to qualifying rounds just to even get a sniff at the Champions League. I think it's it's just pushing more and more teams out. This whole conference league clownery now that we have that somehow we still have teams from England and Germany winning it, even though it's technically supposed to be a tournament for smaller teams, make it more accessible for them. In the qualification rounds, I was telling Stallone before pod, but it used to be where you would, if you were in the Champions League qualifying round, for example, you would get like if you lost in the first qualifying round, you'd get knocked down to the Europa League, et cetera, and until you got knocked out. But now if you're out in the first qualifying round, you drop all the way to the Conference League, which is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. We used to, I'm old enough to remember 2010, 11, 12, when if you won the Romanian League, you were automatically in the Champions League. Obviously, our coefficient was a lot better back then, but now we're in the first qualifying round, which means we have to go through 4 different qualifying rounds to even participate. Wow. So very, very frustrating. One last thing I'll say on the whole qualification as well. We have 4 total spots in the European competitions as the Romanian country. Our first place team goes into the first qualifying round. So like I said, four different rounds to get in the Champions League. So who knows if usually we get knocked out in the first or second, sometimes third qualifying round. Then we get knocked down to the Europa and whatever. But going back to the league, we do have a second spot that goes to the Europa League. That goes to our domestic cup. So there's no way that you can play in the league and go directly into Europa. You have to win the domestic cup. And then we only have 2 conference league spots. So again, the conference league was made for the quote unquote smaller teams, but how is Romania still only getting two teams into the conference league? Like that's an absolute aberration, where it's like, there's other teams that are getting 3, like Armenia and Latvia and Ireland and some of these other teams, and England, Italy, Spain, Germany, and they still get at least 1 team in there, if not multiple, because they're dropping down, like I said, from the Europa League and their qualifiers. So absolute disservice. I know a lot of people were probably lost in the sauce with that, just because if you're not super into this stuff like I am, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I guess I'll just kind of throw it over to you, Fezzy boy. I just think it's, it's been top heavy for a number of years now, and they keep doing things that are quote unquote better for smaller countries, or like, oh, the trickle down effect or whatever. But if you really do a deep dive into them, it's not helping anybody, because like, the Champions League might as well be a super league at this point. It's just the best of the best getting in there with a couple minnows in there, just get destroyed 5-0 by these big time teams. And then even the quote unquote competitions for the smaller teams just get eaten up by, teams that shouldn't be even getting that far. And like I said, we're a quote unquote small country as far as FIFA is concerned now. We only have two teams getting in there, and that's not even guaranteed. That's qualification. So nothing's guaranteed. So very, very frustrating as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't understand it like you do, but I obviously understand it enough to know that the small teams are absolutely just getting hosed. Like the small leagues, the small countries, like just absolutely just it's all a money grab. And I remember when the Super League came out, obviously we were all against it because it was just like those teams individually were just trying to like create this competition that they could make all the money. But as it like started coming out, you saw like obviously we rooted for the Champions League, not folding, and the Super League like folding and ending. But it just kind of showed that like UEFA is just as corrupt as the Super League would have been.
It's almost like there's a backroom deal that went on during that Super League thing.
Yeah.
It was like, let's nix the Super League talks, but this is how we're going to change the Champions League to basically make it like a pseudo version of that.
Dude, freaking sports conspiracy right there. I mean, and that's probably not even that much of a stretch. Like, because if the teams were going to make more money joining the Super League, they just would have done that. Like the only way that, UEFA was able to convince them not to do it was like, like you're saying, like, hey, we're going to change the format. It's going to be more bigger teams. It's really going to cut out like the smaller teams. More money is going to be available for everybody else. More games, more this. And that's a whole nother thing we could get into, just like the amount of games that players are playing. the amount of injuries that are happening, this, that, and the other. But yeah, like I said, I don't personally understand it as much as you do because you have done the research and taken a dive into it. But I definitely know when I see corruption, and it's pretty like, I mean, Chelsea just won the Conference League, a competition that was meant for smaller teams. And
Literally.
like, you know, whether you take it as a Mickey Mouse like competition or not, just won the Club World Cup against PSG and they won the Conference League. Like, that team should not be in the Conference League.
Dude, Spain, Italy, England, and Germany should not even get a team in there, I don't think. Because
No.
if you're looking at the disparity in money and players in like club worth in general, like eighth place or whatever the frick in England dwarfs all the teams in the conference league. Like you remember, like the teams that Chelsea was playing in the conference league didn't even have freaking logos. Some of them on Google. Like that's how small we were. Like they were going to like villages in freaking Lithuania and crap to play.
For real.
Like so, yeah, super frustrating. And like so one of the reasons I'm like so into this stuff is because like as a Romanian, like I'm watching our teams like struggle through the qualifiers. Like it kind of makes you aware of like the rules and the regulations and everything.
Right.
But like I've shared this story on the pod before, but like I remember, bro, like 10, 11, 12 when like I was kind of starting to get into like really be into soccer and everything. Like like I said, we would have Romanian teams in the Champions League automatically. And then as our coefficient has gone down, it was obviously we were in the playoffs, but still would get a team in like every now and then. But bro, like the feeling when we would go to like Rome and get a result, we would get like a tie or like dude, I remember 2000. I want to say this is 11. When my team Cluj went to Old Trafford with Wayne Rooney and Sir Alex and all the boys and grinded out a 1-0 victory, bro. That is so good for the sport. It keeps an entire country. The entire country is rooting for that one team in the Champions League going up against the big boys. It keeps an entire country engaged.
Yeah.
I understand it might not be a freaking Madrid versus Manchester United getting all the TV money and everything, but like that's what it's about, bro. And that's what I think is lost in all this is like obviously all those smaller teams that like all those experiences, bro. Like I don't know if like we're like when's the last time we had a team in the Champions League? 2015. I don't see any time in the next 10 years where we're gonna get a team in there. So
yeah,
it's gonna be real rough. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So
there you go.
Both of my teams that have been in the qualies have won their ties so far. So we'll see where we are from there. Maybe we'll give you guys updates as we kind of go along in the
Romanian updates,
qualies. But yeah, definitely frustrating. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I root for Chelsea, so I am at the top of the corruption. So, but I'm right there with you. If someone has to stand up for the little guy, Sammy, it's got to be you. I guess it's got to be you.
So
yeah. But with that being said, that's going to wrap it up for this portion of the podcast. We're going to move along into some golf with the Open Championship getting started today. So let's get it. Getting into some golf with the Open Championship that got underway today. We're going to just take a look at the leaderboard as it currently sits. We have no idea who's at the top of the leaderboard. We were just talking off pod. Just have no idea who some of these guys are, but some notable names in the top 10 that we just wanted to highlight. Obviously, we have Scotty Scheffler sitting tied 6th at 3 under. But the big highlight for us, because this is just some guy that we grew up just, he was kind of the guy that he always wore orange, wore the big Puma hats. Ricky Fowler sitting tied 10th with 2 under after the first round. Sammy, were you watching this today, and did you keep up with any of the golf going on as it happened?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Actually, mainly Ricky Fowler more than Scheffler because Scheffler was kind of done by the time I even got to work, I think.
Yeah,
so he had an early tee time. But yeah, love to see my boy Fowler putting up a good day today. Not getting too excited yet, though, because he's put together many a Thursday that have been in the top 10, and then he ends up 53rd. So I'm hoping that he puts together a good weekend here. At least make it to Sunday where he can wear that big orange. Do you know why he wears orange?
I feel like I've heard this, but I don't
Probably
remember.
told you it before. Oklahoma State alum, baby.
Oh,
He's a
really?
Cowboy. Yes,
Okay. All
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
Now I
So
see why you actually root for him for sure.
yeah,
Interesting.
I obviously I'd never watched him at Oklahoma State or anything, but when
Yeah.
in the early days that I was like, oh, let's get into a little golf here. Like I saw you wore orange, and then doing a little more research, I was like, oh, Oklahoma State alum. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like a
So
lot of
always
people
kind
got
of
into
followed him.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people got into golf because of Ricky. Just with like, he was
Yeah.
like the first to really get into like the flashy like golf outfits, like with the bold colors and stuff like that. I know when I was in high school, I would keep up with him quite a bit.
He burst onto the scene too. Like I remember, I think it was 14 or 15. He literally got second in like every single major that year. So he's kind of just kind of bulldozed everybody. He was a really good player for a while. But Oklahoma State actually has a pretty good golf like system. Like
Apparently.
Victor Hovland is from
Mhm.
Oklahoma State. Wyndham Clark, who just
Really?
destroyed Oakmont a couple weeks ago.
Did you see
He's
that
from
he's not
Oklahoma
welcome
State.
back?
Yeah, they banned him.
They banned
Which
him.
is like fine because they're probably not going to host a major anytime soon.
Right, but like they banned him and he can't like they revoked his membership and
They told
said
him he had to go to counseling or something.
yeah, he
I
has
was
to go
like,
to anger management counseling before he could come back. I was like, dude,
bro,
whether or
I'd be
not
so pissed if some like golf course is trying to tell me to go to anger management. I'd be like, nah, bro. Like,
but I mean, he did like destroy like historic
he did.
like lockers, I guess you could
I
say.
think apparently he hasn't paid it back yet, and I was like, dude,
Yeah, that
that's
was the
kind
other
of
thing.
a not great move
Yeah,
there. I was like, dude,
that's
I would be paying that back like the day after.
yeah,
But
that's a little low, especially when you
for
have
sure.
that much money. And I'm sure it's like they're just asking for it to be repaired. Like they're not asking you to buy Oakmont. Like
Kind of a tool, but he
little bit of
transferred to
tool.
Oregon apparently. So
Oh,
we
so
don't
he's
claim
not
him as
we don't
Oklahoma
claim
State,
him. Okay,
unless he went to
gotcha.
another major, then we'll claim him. But
Yeah, exactly. They're always an alum as long as they win.
Exactly.
But if they don't,
that's like, bro. I know we always get off on these, but
that's fine.
so funny. Oh, so Oklahoma State, Tyreek Hill spent 1 year at Oklahoma
really?
State, and he got kicked off the team basically for like a domestic dispute, whatever.
Oh my
And they
word,
transferred to like JUCO, whatever, yada yada. But
Mhm.
now, anytime he does anything, Oklahoma State will like put out a post and like Cowboys doing good in the NFL or whatever. I was like,
Yeah,
we can't really claim him when we literally kicked him off the team for his like domestic thing he had. So I was
right.
like, but anyways,
Yeah,
sorry.
exactly. But they just want the money and that the recognition that comes from their alums doing well for sure. But yeah, definitely gonna be keeping up with the leaderboard, and obviously I'll be at work tomorrow, so I won't be able to watch most of it tomorrow as well. And with it
I thought
being
you have
in
two
Europe,
golf balls in your hand.
yeah, I'm just playing with them right now. For those watching on YouTube and Spotify, I definitely am just playing with golf balls.
Go, I gotta
right
bring
now.
him out for the golf segment.
Yeah. I've been playing with them this whole time, but anyways, it's late. We had technical difficulties getting into this, and we were just like, "Oh, like if you made it this far, at the beginning of this episode, we were like, oh, we don't have that much to talk about. It, probably a half hour, 45 minutes,
bro.
for sure. Nah, this is gonna be another your weekly hour and a half podcast of listening to us just run off on rants on every sports topic known to man. But yeah, definitely
because we always do this. Where I bring in Tyreek Hill into a golf segment somehow.
Yeah.
And get off this.
Then we start talking about
trail.
Oklahoma State and
goodness,
how bad of a person Wyndham Clark is. Like it's just, and we started off talking about the Open Championship. It's just how it is. But you guys are here for it, all 13 of you. But with that being said, definitely going to keep up with the Open. I was right. We were off pod arguing about this, but it is in Northern Ireland. Sammy Boy thought it was in Scotland. Normally,
it St. Andrews.
Normally it is, but I think this is the second time that it's at. What did I say? Is it Portrush? Where did I see that?
Yeah,
Portrush Golf. Yeah, which is an hour away from where McElroy grew up. So the hometown kid comes back. We were talking off pod about McElroy. Not a big fan of him, and just he's super unmotivated now. After he won the Masters, dude, he acts like he's like the second coming of Tiger. Like, bro, calm down.
He's kind of always been like that, but now it's like even more amplified. Like, what was it? Was it the whatever the last one was. Yeah, the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Where he was just like, yeah, I don't really care what anybody else really thinks. I feel like I can just do what I want. Like that was a literal verbatim quote from him. I'm like, dude,
Bro.
you're a spoiled little.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I do understand part of his reasoning for it is like he feels like hard done by the PGA because he was one of the ones that like spoke out really like harshly against like Live Golf and like the Saudis taking over and stuff. And then the PGA just kind of like undercut him and was like, "Oh yeah, we're in talks about merging." And he's just like, "I just went to bat for you guys, and you guys are just like, yeah, we're gonna take the money. Sorry." And so he wins the Masters, completes the Grand Slam, and he's just like, "Frick this! I'm done. I'm done with everything. Like, what else is there to achieve in golf anymore?"
It's great.
I mean, with the amount of money that he has, heck yeah, golf for fun for the rest of your life. You know, heck, don't even golf if you don't like it anymore. But yeah. With that being said, I think that's a pod, Sammy.
It is a pod.
As a pod, we appreciate you guys tuning in this week. Again, we're here every week. We try to record on Thursdays just to kind of fit everything in, but we hope you guys have a good weekend. Check us out on all our platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Like and subscribe, rate, do all the things there. That really helps us out, and we will catch you guys on the next one. All right.
Peace.